control initialized.
Hello there, comrades and cannon fodder. It's Dvoid here. I've got a 1v1 multiplayer game, and we're on Separateness map for this one. I'm using Russia, and my opponent's using Ukraine for this one. And this replay is showing the build order that I've been working on. I think we've got a spectator. Yeah, we've got a spectator for this one. I'm using Russia in red in the top left. My opponent's got this olive green type colour there in the bottom right, sending rifles out. And I've sent a rifleman just to escort my engineer to this closest oil derrick. And the rest of my rifles I send straight for the centre to contest that one. My opponent sent 3 rifles to escort their engineer this way. And they are covering him fairly well, but they are not building any more infantry. They are preparing a flame tower in case of grenadier drops or grenadier attacks, etc., but that's it. They're going easy on early production. There's some more infantry from them. And I've secured the centre. I've captured this oil derrick, and my opponent has just captured theirs. So we've got one each, but I've secured the centre here. And my opponent's positioning rifles, you know, at the edge of the map here, early. Quite early. There's nothing wrong with doing that, but my engineer's still well and truly busy. You know, so... But placing your rifle guards here, the earlier the better, because players should send rifles to the edges of the map and to scout the enemy base early on. You should send at least something. If you don't see any presence from your opponent, you should always send something. If you send in your rifle guards out and they get cut down or attacked straight away, then consolidate, because then you know where some of your opponent's units are. But if you're seeing nothing, like I am in this situation, then you should send rifles to investigate. Let's look at early army value. Yeah, my opponent, they have trained their 3 rockets, and they've got a few rifles, but the thing is, yeah, I've got these rifles and they haven't, but you can soon train rifles. You know, and early on, it's easy to stop an attack early on. You know, very easy. They can use these ore trucks for screening. That's one thing some players don't always consider using, are ore trucks to help screen and defend early. You know, you just need a basic amount of rifles and you can protect your base from early attacks. See, now I'm assuming I've just trained my 4th rocket soldier up, so I haven't got a very strong attack force. You know, it's easy to stop. Now my opponent's got 5 rockets there. There's my scout vehicle. My opponent has gone for an ore truck first. So now I'm building my 3rd ore truck. It's about to roll out, and then I'll be building my 4th. And my 3rd refinery soon. That's the standard build order, but this build order that I'm using is actually different, of course. So when I've built my war factory, I build my scout vehicle and 3 ore trucks. And while I'm doing that, I build a power plant and 4 barracks. And then after the 4th barracks, which will leave me with 5, I then build my service depot and a power plant, another barracks, and then my 3rd refinery, which is the expansion refinery. And you can do that build order on this map because you've only got 1 starting patch of ore. 2 refineries is plenty for this map. Now, having a 3rd refinery would allow you to either harvest here or harvest more quickly from here, but you know, this build order it works, and I'm trying to head off my opponent. I didn't know that this was coming, their MCV. I just thought I was dealing with these units here, but I caught a glimpse of that and thought, oh dear, that's sent them packing. Not a great situation for my opponent to be turned back like that, but at least he didn't lose it. And I'm securing this oil derrick to capture it. And it's possible I should have put my APC here, my infantry here, and just caused some harassment. Because you see, this lot here will defeat my attack force in defence. They could wait. They could even let me destroy a refinery, and they've caught my engineer. I have captured the oil derrick, but they caught the engineer. So nicely done. My opponent's still got their engineer, so they can retake that if they secure the area. And my opponent's expanded here instead. So I am sending units, look, across the map because I'm aware that I've got very little here, but these two riflemen should track my opponent's expansion soon. So when an ore truck moves out, I should see it. And there you go. There's my MCVs moving out to an expansion, and these guys are escorting it. Soon, my opponent's building barracks or power plants by the speed of that construction. Yeah, power plant. And I need to repair my APC, get these guys out of here. Yeah, my opponent's moving back to secure the oil derrick. They are attacking, but they shouldn't do that. They've got their engineer here. They can just retake it. So I'm surprised. Let's look at these early army values. I'm at 15,000, my opponent's at 9,000, and I've got my 6 barracks, so I'll be building a power plant and a 7th barracks now, and it's not even 6.5 minutes. Yeah, they destroyed the oil derrick, but I've still got 2 to my opponent's 0, and this rifleman has revealed my opponent's expansion now. Look, I know they've got a refinery there. So I'm gathering forces, I want to hit this, but I shouldn't be hanging around. These guys are just idle, doing very little. Yeah, they are guarding an area, but they're vulnerable. They're only rifles, so they'll kind of be wasted. And my opponent's attacking the central oil derrick. And I've got a grenadier drop there. Right, now, at this point, it's important that I start to reinforce my base, my home base, and these barracks, and I can place defences, and a spare refinery, I'm moving these back for defence, look. That's a good use of them. Plus my tank production, I can order it here once I've moved out, but it gives you a strong defensive position at your home base, because I like to hang on, but a lot of players will tell you I should have expanded here by now. At least have something, and it doesn't matter if you lose it, you can fall back. And on this map, you've got this and this to fall back on. But I'm moving into attack. I've got my APC, and I'm at 23,000 army value. My opponent's at 21,000. But I'm within view range of the power plant. Not overcommitting yet. There goes my APC, look. And I can see that I'm up, I've got problems here. I'm up against a well-fortified position, so I have to get back. This is bad. I'm down to 16,000 army value, my opponent's at 20,000, and the force that fell back is quite a small force compared to what was there. Well, there's my APC, and my opponent's bringing out their units, so that appears to be good. But I'm bringing in reinforcements. This was my defence force at my home base. And there's no way they're punching through there. But I've still got my hands full, look. And my opponent's fallen back. I'm at 16,000 army value. My opponent's at 22,000. Here goes my APC. Still busy, look. And they've placed a flame tower, but it attacked the APC. I need to get the grenadiers out of here. Right, only 2 left alive. And there's a battle here, right, looks like I've won this engagement. Even though neither of us have got vehicles. And I destroyed a power plant, but my opponent's not in low power. Hopefully it'll interfere with their build order. But I won that engagement there, so I'm moving forward to... And I'm bringing a tank. I've got my second war factory. But look at this. My opponent sent a small force, and it's caught me. While I'm attacking here and busy... I'm losing ore trucks, and my my radar dome is there. I'm moving out with my MCV, so I'm aware of what's going on and applying the pressure here. I'm at 8,000 army value, my opponent's at 9. And look there, and I'm trying to build a defence force here while maintaining pressure, and we've got their construction yard. I sold it, and that's no longer primary production. I'm training thieves for infiltrations, of course. My opponent sold it. I did have an engineer. But there goes my first power plant, and even the units there are backing away. My MCV, I'm at 7,000 army value, my opponent's at 12, not good. But I'm maintaining the pressure, and there's a thief up front. I'm running away with him, but then saw the enemy tank. And he got killed by his own machine gun fire, I believe. Now my radar dome's under fire. I've saved both MCVs. And maintaining the pressure here, this is what I'm gambling my victory on now. Let's see, my opponent's power has still got power going for him, and I'm running low on cash. But I've got plenty here to harvest if I can retake it. Plenty of assets and ore fields and refineries there. Now I need to build a defence here. And this attack... My opponent's falling back. I've got the larger force, but they've got the defender's advantage, and yeah. This is it. They're using the ore trucks, and it basically turned the engagement. I should be... there's some engineers on the move. And my opponent's moving around here. I should send an MCV back here now with all my ore trucks and just retake this home base, because my opponent's in a sorry situation. But yeah, there's my forces are all lost, and I lost an engineer. My opponent's selling assets and stuff. I'm moving forward here. Nice bit of flame tower work. And I'm at 1,600 army value. My opponent's at 12,000. So, not great. My opponent's in a sorry condition. I've done a lot of damage. I bet they were close to calling it. I know they were, because they said so. But, you know, I couldn't, you know, I overcommitted. I couldn't finish it. And because I lost my service depot, I'm building APCs. And this engineer, he's going on a long journey. I'm hoping to find a vulnerable enemy expansion so I can capture stuff. But there you go, I'm moving this MCV back to retake my home base. I've still got a refinery there, but this is under attack. And I'm moving away, but yeah, lost it. That's, you know, that's bad. I had a chance while I had that. I've got a couple of grand. Even though I'm hardly building, I'm still not building up a lot of cash. These need redistributing, my ore trucks, but I can't just move them across the map, you know, and hope for the best. I've got to be careful with them. And my opponent's is 17,000 army value now. I'm at 4,000. So the build order worked. I was doing quite well, but I just kind of overcommitted. And I didn't. If I'd have had something here to defend my base, like I should have done, then I'd have been fine. It was that small force that knocked me out of the game, basically, and has done this. Now, I've got a service depot again, and I'm sending ore trucks, look, to begin retaking assets here and mining there again. But look at the size of this army, and there's more than... I couldn't take the enemy base now just with that, and they've got that army there. 20,000 army value, and I'm still at 4,000, so, you know, there's my scouts, look. So I'm not growing in army value, that's that. But, like I say, both players were in a bad situation, but my opponent obviously had enough assets and the right assets to keep building an army, whereas I'm still at 4.5, I've got, you know, nothing, but now I'm starting to regather income again and build here. It's too late. Now I'm building up an army. Well, it's too late now. I am trying to reinforce this and use the view range of my structures to fight, and that's hoping my opponent fights on my terms and attacks here. So I'm building units here now, over there. And look, this force alone will destroy me. And look, because they didn't move straight on, they've engaged here, and yeah, they've got... I mean, I'm okay, but it's what those heavy tanks. I can't fight those heavy tanks. There you go. My troops are still doing damage, MCV's fleeing. And I'm building tanks again and troops. There you go, lost my service depot, so no more tanks. Managed to get one built, sorry, and here's the next attack force. So yeah, I was in a very strong position. I should have ended the game and won. But my opponent didn't give in. They fought on and, you know, did well. So, fair play to them. It was a good game, a good fun game, and it was a good test of the build order. It's a decent one, and I do like it. But I was thinking, rather than build so many barracks so early, I might trim down to, instead of building 4, maybe build 3 or something after the war factory, just to see if I could alter it slightly. There you go, I've called it there. Just to see if I could alter and slim it down a little bit without damaging the build order and its whole point, and also without affecting the income and stuff like that, and it hopefully bring forward the expansion time and stuff like that. But here you go, there's the army graph, and look, I was ahead at that point, doing quite well, but I suffered some losses there, and that's probably the point where I engaged here and fell back. Excuse me. And then shortly afterwards, obviously, I did damage. But yeah, the fighting was harsh, and then look, 11.5 minutes, I was in a bad situation and never recovered. So there's the army graph for you, showed exactly what happened. Here's the earnings graph. Yeah, we're both doing quite well there. And then a massive drop for both of us, in fact, but me more than my opponent, and my opponent recovered just like the army graph, and they've got like, is that 10 heavy tanks, engineer, and plenty of infantry. Yeah, 26,000 army value to my opponent, and I lost 27 structures, my opponent lost 16 structures. I killed 214 units, my opponent killed 296. I destroyed 55,000 credits worth of my opponent's assets, and my opponent destroyed 78,000 credits worth of mine, so well done, they got me fair and square there, it was a good game. They're still producing basics, tanks, defences, barracks, and economy. They've got 8 ore trucks left, and I earned 94,000 credits. My opponent earned 114,000 credits, so they were a little ahead, but we both did well for earnings. It's just, I should have expanded here. I think it may have turned the game in my favour, and also would have meant that this was less of a loss. You know, I could have maybe spread out some more assets, because I do have a tendency of focusing all assets at my home base, like radar, even second war factory and stuff, although in this occasion I didn't, but I've got a tendency to do that, focus assets and leave the MCV there. I need to stop doing that. I need to change that somehow, even if it means expanding here and falling back with the MCV here, again, in between the two. So I've got some build radius, and then plan my building placement around that so that the service depot's about here and radar dome, and I can defend them and defend this as well. So yeah, it's just a thought, because I do like this map. I've started adding it to my usual map circuit. But I've got a couple of grand cash. My opponent's got 10 grand cash, so they've got plenty. And for basics, I was at 36 actions per minute, my opponent was at 54, and scores were 617 to me, 766 to my opponent. So there's all your stats and graphs and basics. Hope you enjoyed that one. But I'm going to go to a second replay and add it to this post. So just hang fire for one moment, and I'll sort it. This is the one I'll choose. This was the last game I played, and it's another decent one. And we are on, this is a 1v1 multiplayer game on Amsterdamned map, and my opponent's using France, I'm using Russian. We've got a few spectators for this one, but yeah, my opponent's using France, and they're in blue in the top left, and I'm in red in the bottom right using Russia. So this is an old classic map, this one. It's a good one, but I don't use it that often, but I don't mind the map, I like it, but you know, it's not an easy map to use. If you're up against a good opponent, you know, then they're going to use the map properly and use it well, and you end up seeing things like in the last game, there was a missing expansion I should have had on the far side, and that's, you'll see some players, they just won't make those mistakes. But they've moved an engineer straight into the capture for that closest oil derrick, and mine's just arrived because I had a rifleman going first. But there's a hospital in this side up here and one down here on this side. So there is 2 oil derricks and 2 hospitals to capture on this map, and they're a fair distance from each other. The hospitals are a long way from both bases. Whichever one you choose, you've got to go a long distance. So I've got a few riflemen here that I'm going to go and see if I can find my opponent's engineer while he's moving between the hospital and oil derrick. Like, my opponent's just sent a rifle, and he's sent another one there, look. But I'm sending these rifles to escort my engineer and capture the hospital. Because being Russia, hospital's important. But there we go, my opponent's capturing the hospital, and his engineer is ordered to move around this way. Interesting. I've got a couple of riflemen on the way, and I've left this one here. And my opponent's engineer's going the other way. Yeah. I was expecting him to move back up this way somewhere. My opponent's got a light tank. I haven't placed my war factory yet, so my opponent's in a war factory first build. And my troops are idle there, look. They should go slightly ahead of the engineer in case my opponent's left a rifleman or 2 waiting. And there's a rifleman sat there. There's a rifleman there for my opponent. He's positioned rifles here, look, in these awkward little hidden spaces. And there's a light tank coming to have a look. And my opponent's trying to distract me with the rifleman shooting this, but my rifleman will kill him. But I've got enough units here to shoo this light tank away. Just built my scout vehicle. My opponent's got 4 ore trucks. We've both got 2 refineries. And the light tank's made it out of there. And the engineer is going to be close. Yeah. They've got away. It was on move command, so he won't pursue it or stop. And my opponent's got 5 ore trucks. Very nice build order. Well worth paying attention. This is a war factory first build order. They got a light tank early for harassment. And look, you know, 5 and they've got a ranger now. A ranger light tank combination is very good because you've got the light tank's armour for screening against bullets, screening your infantry, and you've got the view range of the ranger to give you better view range than any other unit at this point in the game. So it's a nice combination. The Soviets could have a flak truck APC combo, but I don't think it's quite as effective as the Ranger light tank combo, just because the light tank has got a better gun and will shoo away a flak truck or an APC, and it will do good screening work against bullets. But like I say, the Ranger's got the best view range out of all those units. My rifle guards are being revealing the enemy as they move forward, so if I noticed, I should be aware that my opponent's moving units, and the ranger is trying to clear away scout rifles and rifle guards by the looks of it. And I'm escorting my MCV. My opponent's got that expansion set up. There you go, another rifle guard, showing my opponent's position. And you see, I've got this force here protecting my MCV, but you still need rifles around, you know, here and there. And as your opponent is clearing away these rifles, that's why you need quite a few rifle guards, because it shows your opponent's progress as they kill units and move on, or if they turn back and don't kill units, it tells you. So placing rifle guards here, here, and here, say, shows you the progress of your opponent's attacking units. And they're moving forward to another expansion, and I've got my first expansion set up. I need an eco transfer. Here we are. They're on the way. And there's a rifle guard. They're on move command, so hopefully, no. sneaking right round the edge. Now let's have a look at early army values. My opponent's at 12,000 army value, I'm at 16,000, and my opponent is aware of the threat somehow. And I'm ready for the threat here. Yeah, I'm aware of it, look. Both of our attacks are not enough. Not big enough. Neither of us. Yeah, they should deal with them. Now, very few units have escaped, but some have, at least. Primary production's here, placing defences. That APC's nearly been destroyed, so it needs to get out of there. And I've dealt with them. I didn't realise that I'd got them all. Now, my MCV's trying to escape. I've lost this, so I've had to fall back. And my opponent's expanding forward here. My opponent's at 13,000, 14,000 army value, I'm at 13. And they've got a nice central position with their MCV here. And I'm trying to gather my army. And it looks like we're both going in the same direction. Very strange why we would both choose that. My opponent's in move command. That's a mistake. And he's still in move command, and still is. Yeah. Nice. Caught a few units there. Now I'm moving this force and trying to build up a defence force at my home base. Don't want to make a mistake like I did earlier in the last game I just showed. And here you go, this is a nice engagement, and I'm thinking, get these tanks into position and I should hopefully be okay to win this engagement. Although, you know, I haven't got a lot of troops. I'm trying to bring in reinforcements here, and I've noticed an eco raid. So it's drawing units away, and my opponent's fallen right back to the defences. That's perfect. And there's enough to deal with them, and I've emptied my base of all units. Falling back, my opponent's at 16,000 army value, I'm at 14,000, and I'm engaging again, bringing in all my units. And they're in move command, falling back, and I've cleared the defences, or most of them, look. Bringing forward my MCV. And there you go, I've set up base defences and barracks, and my opponent's got helicopters. That's a bad sign, and they've got nothing left. I've got no vehicles, so I'm not too eager to advance, but I need tanks up front, and I've had to clear away all my harvesting operation here. All my ore trucks have moved away because there's that tank, so my opponent's now moving here, and my home base is vulnerable to an attack, and about the same size as the attack force in that last game. And here I've been stopped. Now I'm drawing my opponent's attention, but yes, that's not good. And my opponent has hit me here. I've got very little to stop them. Defences are doing okay. Look at that, nice and toasty. Fry them, couple more, and I'll be happy. And now start building stuff. Get that out of there. But I'm bringing home my other units, and this expansion here is very vulnerable. But I also need to keep mining from it for as long as I can, and here we are. I should hopefully be able to defend this. My opponent's at 15,000 army value, I'm at 7,000. And there's an MCV, and this one's on the front line. I need to get that one set up quickly and get this one away, so that's it. Leg it quickly. Oh, look at that. That's a real shame. Yeah, I just waited too long and lost it. Such a shame. Now, that's done a lot of damage, that has, losing that MCV, because I can no longer move one and build at the same time. You see, I'm still trying to harvest here, and my opponent with air units now knows everything they need to. And they're about to destroy an ore truck there with a single tank. That's a shame. And the tank gets away. Huh. I knew there was a force here. I should have engaged sooner. But an attack there wouldn't have achieved anything, I don't think. Look, single tanks, and there's a small group. They can move their tanks around while defending with their infantry and 1 or 2 tanks. So here you go, I decided to attack here because I thought, well, he's not expecting me to attack somewhere else. He thinks I'm going to keep smashing against the same area. So there you go, his MCV's retreating, their ore trucks are retreating, and I've got this force here, so I decided to consolidate and attack. And I've got my thieves on the way. And there, my thief was shot. I'm bringing forward my MCV. There's a second one as well. And I've got a radar dome. Now, I've had most of my units gunned down by the helicopters. Go on, shoot it down. But I've won that battle there. So, my cash situation, we're both about equal. And there's an infiltration, about 600 nearly. And I've got the enemy, there's another, but they've got very little cash. But I've got this under capture, so they can't sell it. That's the chokehold in effect now. So I've got that, and what I'm trying to do is to keep control of their resources for as long as possible. But look, I've got my... While I was busy and I had my hands full, I'm going to lose these ore trucks. That's left me with none. I've got 3. I've got those 3, and they're about to die. And I'm capturing here. There's another thief, look. And my opponent's got no money, but I'm attacking. There's another eco raid, and I'm setting up here with my MCV because I want to, if I have to, continue the chokehold here. Quickly get there. Oh, they've got no money to steal anyway. And there you go. Now I'm building V2s, but it's under fire and destroyed. That's not how you fight a war effectively. It's not. You don't do that. You don't send your only V2 missile launcher to just be destroyed without firing a single shot. That's not how you fight a war. If that's the conditions you're fighting under, you've lost. That's just all there is to it. Look, these units attacking defences, infantry, tanks, production, artillery. They can bring in air units when they want. You can't fight under those conditions. You can't expect to survive or win or even match your opponent. So fighting under these conditions, it's over. That's the truth of the situation. Now, I'm just stubborn and don't like to give up while I've got something I can fight with. That's just, you know, me. But, you know, you saw those conditions, and you can't fight and win a war under those conditions. It's just not possible. It's too inefficient. You know, my opponent's got everything they need. And there you go. I've still got my 2 MCVs, but no army. And I've got an oil derrick somewhere. There's a hospital, and there's my oil derrick and an engineer, but, you know, what of it? I'm destroying these here, look, defending my home base. So if I set up, I've actually got a nice set of resources here. And my engineer is going to go and capture these 2, but it's a bit late now. But neither of us have got any cash. But my opponent's got almost a 20,000 army value. I've got 1.5, and there you go, look. It's falling back. Helicopters have got the gunships. And I have to set this one up so I can build, and that's it. So, there, I've called it. That's your lot for this game. So, there you go, there's game 2 for you. But I chose these 2 to put them together in the same post, because I thought they're fairly entertaining and decent battles with decent opponents, good players, so it should prove entertaining for my viewers. And the first game I got to show my new build order with all the barracks. And this one, obviously, you got to see some tech, and my opponent did very well. So I'm going to go through the graphs and charts for this second game as well. There's the army graph, look. I was ahead at the start. You know, I should have been a little more proactive and aggressive. But I'm just, you know, you can't... This is a good opponent I was up against. You can't win them all, and You know, it was a good fun game, that's all that really matters. But for the army graph, look, my opponent was a bit behind, but they had maintained a good army even after combat had started, because look, I'm taking losses and I am replacing them, but I'm taking some heavy losses here, look. But my opponent maintained a fairly stable army size and then had a very large spike in army value. Now, I kicked the living shit out of a fair few of them, look, but when I started to recover a bit of army value, I was behind and took some heavy, savage losses there, look. So it shows you how much of a good battle that was, that army graph. And here's the earnings graph. Right, all over. Look at that, I was struggling towards the end, look, unstable or what? My opponent had a fairly stable, that's an arc, earning arc, with a nice spike in the middle where he needed it. Nice, that's okay. And they've got helicopters, artillery, tanks, and a basic amount of infantry. And it's a 21,000 army value. My opponent lost 8 structures, I lost 18. And my opponent killed 286 units, I killed 224. My opponent destroyed 81,000 credits worth of my assets. I destroyed 62,000 credits worth of my opponent's assets. They've got a GPS satellite counting down, so they've got an allied tech centre somewhere. Where are we? Here. There you go, there's the allied tech centre. So when you launch a satellite and it launches from there, and then it reveals the enemy positions under the shroud. So if I set up an expansion here, you would see symbols for the structures and symbols for any units and other assets. Infantry are dots, tanks are little tank symbols, and structures are little structure symbols. So if you launch that GPS satellite for a few minutes, you'd see the enemy assets through the shroud. It's a brilliant ability, very, very effective, and it counts down and wears off, and then you count down to use it again and launch it, and it'll reveal a position, the enemy position, for a certain amount of time. It's not for long, but you get to launch it every 8 minutes, so it's a great ability, the GPS. But production, my opponent's building basics, infantry, defences, tanks and helicopters. And they've hung on to an oil derrick. I'm guessing it's, yeah, this is the only one, closest one. They've got 10 ore trucks, and they earn 114,000 credits. I earn 89,000 credits. And we've both got very little cash left at the end. We're proper struggling for cash. My opponent's just in low power, only just, so I'm sure they'd have sorted it. But my opponent was at 42 actions per minute, I was at 32 actions per minute, and our scores were 801 to my opponent, 734 to me. So there's all your stats and graphs, charts and tabs. I hope you enjoyed those 2 games. I did. They're very good games. It's a shame I didn't defeat them in the end, but they were both good fun battles. And, you know, I enjoyed those games. Like I say, that's all that matters. So there'll be more to come soon, but if you enjoyed those 2 games, give us a sub and a like. And for now, take good care of yourselves. Thank you very much. And until next time, goodbye.
Battle control terminated.